listening to Into the Arena, a Hunger Games podcast sparking the fandom one episode at a time, with your hosts, Holly and Emily. Special thanks for music by Sam Cushion.
Welcome back, tributes, to episode 6 of Into the Arena. I'm Holly, and this is
Emily.
And today's episode is one that we have been requested to do probably the most of all our episodes. But before we get into our pregame, be sure to follow our TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Into the Arena Podcast.
We're going to be doing another Hunger Games quiz. Apparently, this one is also really hard. We did pretty good on the last quiz, but that was just quotes, so I'm a little bit nervous for this one. Our friend Mel sent us this quiz. That's why I feel like it's going to be hard.
What is it called? I think it's called, sorry, but you'll need to have read The Hunger Games at least 100 times past this oddly specific trivia quiz from BuzzFeed.
Oddly specific. That instills fear in my heart.
So let's just start by saying that we are fans. But
I don't know if we'll feel
hard
like it after this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so let's just jump right into it. First question. What color was the bag containing the medicine for Peta at the feast? Okay, this one's already like tripping me up because I want to say orange, but I think I'm going to get confused between the movie and the book because the backpack at the beginning is orange, right, in the movie? But I still think it's orange.
It's orange. It's orange or green because it was like a colorful one. But then in the movie, they made it like black and gray and white. So I don't think it's gray or white. So I feel like it would be orange because they all represented something different to them, right? So I think it's orange. Is it orange?
I think orange too.
I'm so nervous.
Yes, it's orange.
Oh, okay, good.
We're not skunked. One for one.
Yeah. Okay, one.
Okay. How many arrows did Katniss allow herself to use to blow up the career's food?
3. I remember that one.
Yes, it is 3. Which member of Katniss's prep team had gold tattoos?
Uh-oh.
Well,
I feel like it's
Octavia was green, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Was she green with gold tattoos?
Or
is that Venia?
I think it was Venia. That's what I was gonna say, like my gut feeling, because I don't think that they like mixed the colors. But I don't know.
So
Venia? I'm nervous about. I think so. Yeah.
Yep, it was Venia.
Oh my gosh. Okay, 3 for 3. Okay.
We're doing good. I'm scared. Now I'm more scared. Okay, what insect was crawling up the honeysuckle bush when Katniss woke up after her tracker-jacker hallucinations? I have no idea. I would say it's not a butterfly.
True.
And not a cockroach.
How would you know this?
It just doesn't feel right to me.
A beetle or an ant? I think
it's a beetle or an ant. But I don't know. Could be either one.
I think it's an ant. I'm gonna say ant. I'm nervous.
Let's think. Like, would there be like a metaphor or something attached to this? Like an ant carrying like the weight of the world on its shoulders or something.
Suzanne really thought long and hard about that one.
Do you want to go with ant? I'm fine with that.
Okay. A beetle.
It was a beetle.
How would the line is, for a long time, all I can do is take tiny sips from my bottle and watch a beetle crawl up the side of a honeysuckle bush. If you remember that line, you deserve a medal, like a Hunger Games medal. Because
or you just read The Hunger Games 100 times, which I have not, so.
No. Oh my goodness.
Next question. Where did Katniss get stung by the tracker-jackers? Okay, so it's a multiple choice, and the answers are just all different body parts.
So there's 2 answers. There's knee, cheek, and neck, and then neck, nose, and foot. And it wouldn't be her foot because she was wearing.
It wouldn't be foot.
So I feel like it would be her knee because I remember the knee, cheek, and neck. Because I think I remember her saying her face swells up. And it wouldn't be her nose. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's
all right, I'm clicking it.
Okay, it is.
Good job. It just made me want to sing like head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Okay. What type of animal fur are the earmuffs Katniss has to wear made of?
Isn't it a mink? Because I remember reading that and not knowing what that animal is.
The choices are ermine, mink, fox, and golden jackal. Fox seems too boring to me.
I agree.
Like it's not
that's
capital.
That's why I think it's mink. Because I remember it being like a weird animal.
I don't know what ermine is.
I don't either.
I think it's either that or mink, but I would say mink, probably.
Okay.
That's my gut reaction.
Ermine.
Okay.
What is that? Oh my goodness, let me look
For the
up.
book, I feel fur inside and out encasing me. It's from no animal I've ever seen, ermine, he tells me. Okay, well, Katniss didn't know what it was either.
I looked this up. A short-tailed weasel. It's native to Eurasia and North America. I've never heard of that before. I've never read that either. I think that's a joke question. I did not. Like I've read The Hunger Games. It's not in there. It's not.
Well, apparently it is. Oh my gosh. How many siblings does Rue have? 5 or 6? It's either 4, 5, 6, 7.
I thought it was 5.
5? All right. Let's go with that.
But I don't know for sure. Or 4.
It was 5. So good job. Which soup does Katniss encounter in the capital that causes her to break her resolve of taking no more than one bite of each dish? So it's a bunch of different soups.
These all sound very interesting.
A frothy pink soup. I remember that being in the books. A frothy pink soup. And that sounds like something Suzanne Collins would write, like how she would describe it.
Yeah. I really don't know
something
for
else
this one.
Jumps out to you.
I mean, like the one, if I would have gone with something, like I don't remember this, I would have picked the green one, the clear green broth. But I'm leaning towards you.
To a frothy pink soup. Okay, but I don't know if it's in this part, but I know that there's a frothy pink soup in the books somewhere because I remember somebody doing a recipe and like I have the mental picture in my head, like somebody created a recipe for the frothy pink soup.
Okay, I trust you. I feel like you're very set on this one, so I trust you. I don't know it.
Okay, I'm going for it. No.
What was it?
A creamy pumpkin brew? What?
I don't remember that at all.
Where is the frothy? I'm Googling this. The capital's frothy raspberry soup. Hold on. Okay, this is like a trick question because I found the paragraph that it comes from. This is like not fair.
Okay, read it. I want to hear it.
It says, no more than one bite of each dish, I say. My resolve is almost immediately broken at the first table, which has 20 or so soups. When I encounter a creamy pumpkin brew, so that's the answer, sprinkled with silvered nuts and tiny black seeds. I could just eat this all night, I exclaim, but I don't. I weaken again at a clear green broth that I can only describe as tasting like springtime, and again when I try a frothy pink soup.
We were both right, kind of. Like,
man, that's not fair.
That one's like
literally all in the same paragraph.
That's wild. If you got that one, I guess we were like semi-right though. I mean, like
I feel like we were pretty right.
Yeah.
I remembered the frothy pink soup.
Mm-hmm.
Now I kind of want to make that. All right, next question. What food couldn't Octavia get for a party because of bad weather, even though we all know it was an uprising? Wasn't
it oysters or caviar?
when I was reading this question, I was like, oh, it's some type of seafood. I remember that. But then all the multiple choice are seafood. So
yeah, because it's shrimp, crab, oysters, and caviar. I feel like
it's shrimp.
I think it's
or
oysters.
crab.
Really? Oh my gosh, we're like against each other. Okay, I think it's oysters or caviar. I don't think it's shrimp or crab. I don't know.
Really? I feel like
Yeah.
it's shrimp or crab, but probably crab because shrimp is too like obvious.
Okay, I'm gonna lean with
Well, we're in
oysters.
total disagreement. I don't think that's right.
Okay, let's see.
I'm saying
Shrimp.
Oh.
I mean, like, you
We
were
were both
closer. Those are your top two.
I really didn't think it would be shrimp.
This is a really hard quiz, to be honest with you.
This is. I feel like I'm just a failure right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, BuzzFeed quizzes sometimes are like, oh, this is going to be the hardest quiz you've ever taken. And then it's like, really? But this is really difficult.
This is deep, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What fruit did Katniss and Peta throw into the force field of the training center and catch as a game? Oh, I know this one.
I don't know this.
It's apple. I just reread this part.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay.
like last week. It's apple. Yeah.
I don't even remember that like happening, to be honest with you.
Well, the reason I reread it was because I was rereading Haymitch's like games. And his part, yes, because we had been talking about Haymitch.
Oh my goodness.
And then when Katniss and Peta are watching it, they refer back to the rooftop and how it had a force field around it as well. And then so I went back and read the rooftop scene.
Mm-hmm.
And they throw an apple. Does the arena outfit for the quarter quell zipper up in the front or the back? Well, it must zipper up in the front. Because why else would they be asking this question?
I looked at this artist on Tumblr. I sent you her pictures the other day. And she draws outfits described in the book. And I looked at the quarter quell outfit because it had like it was that weird blue and then it had like the floaty things around it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I know. I kind of wish they did that for the movie.
It would have been ridiculous. I'm glad they changed it.
I guess like it would be easier to use in the front, but then like, because how would you, if you weren't with allies, then how would you get out of it? So yeah, I guess I would say front too.
Yeah, I just feel like there's no reason it would be on this quiz unless it was abnormal. It's the front.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. What is a tree rat's meat similar to? I'd say squirrel.
Yeah, I think it was squirrel.
Because she hunts squirrels a lot, so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep, it is squirrel.
Cute.
What room number are the Hawthorns in during the bombing in 13? What?
Girl, huh? It's either, I think it's 47 or 63. Those numbers are sticking out. I don't know. I'm just getting those like vibes from the numbers. That's what my intuition says.
I'm feeling 47.
Okay, let's press it. Yay! I told you my gut was speaking to me. Oh my goodness.
That's awesome. Like, I can't believe it goes into that much detail. Like,
I know.
I do not remember that at all. Oh no.
What is this?
What color is the sofa Katniss wants to lie down on after her fake death? Wait, what is this even? Her fake death?
I don't know. What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't even
I kind
know
of just want to click one and see the explanation, honestly.
Oh, well, okay. Well, what color are you vibing with, Holly?
I'm vibing with red or white. I don't know about you.
I would pick red. I don't think it'd be white.
No, it's green.
Green.
Okay, there's the quote. All I want to do.
Lie down on a nearby green plush sofa and fall asleep.
Where is that from? Does anyone know? Am I losing it? I looked it up and it pulls up this quiz. So wants to lie down on after her fake death. Is that like in Mockingjay when she's shot at?
That was the only thing I could think of, but how does that make sense? Like, where would there be a green couch.
Because they were in 2 when that happened, and then they're in District 13.
And District 13 wouldn't have a green couch. Well, maybe they would. I don't know. Just picture everything gray.
Death? This is throwing me off. It says, as the book states. Okay, what book?
As the book states.
Wait, and then this next question. This is the final question. What was the capital citizen that Katniss killed eating? A hamburger, a hot dog, a corn dog, or fries? Is this a joke?
No. This is in Mockingjay Part 2, right? I vaguely remember this.
Why would they be eating a hot dog or a hamburger? Like, why are they eating concession food?
They just grabbed it while they were running from their house.
Let me just grab my corn dog. Like, gotta go.
Okay, well,
What?
do you think it's a corn dog? Does Panem have corn dogs? Maybe that's like a subtle little reference to like America, because America is a very corn dog kind of place.
Then it would be a hot dog, I feel like. Hot dog or hamburger if it's America. Those are like American foods.
I don't think it was a
kind
hamburger or fries.
a hot dog.
Did you click it?
No. Oh, yeah, it's right. I clicked it, but yeah. Wait, where is that? Mel, can you explain? Hey, girl.
This quiz?
So this was a cute quiz, but what's happening? What are these last 2 questions?
Mel, we have questions.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. A hot dog? Were they just eating a hot dog and then Katniss shot an arrow at them? Like, what?
I think so.
Then I would take... This goes down in, like, my respect levels. Like, what an
awful last meal. A hot dog?
A little hot dog? Well, okay. I guess maybe, like, I'm thinking hot dog with something, like, the bun and everything. But I guess in the capital, if that's what it's referring to at the end, they're eating out of, like, cans and everything. So you could probably eat a canned hot dog.
I'm Googling it. I'm trying to
What is this? I mean, I recently reread Mockingjay and there's no sign of a hot dog as I remember it. Like, it also reminds me of like the final season of Game of Thrones where there's the Starbucks cup in the scene. Like, there's just a random hot dog in the end of Mockingjay. Is anything coming up or is it just the quiz?
No.
Yeah. I think this is fake. I think Mel set us up. Like the first 2 questions made sense because they're Hunger Games related. But what the heck just happened?
Literally all that comes up is this quiz. But doesn't she in Mockingjay Part 2, well, not in the movie, I guess, but in Mockingjay, there's like an old lady that she kills? Or that like falls into
chowing down on a hot dog
or something. And maybe she was eating a hot dog.
I looked up hot dog in Mockingjay book. I think like you're right about it relating to like traditional America or the America we know. But
I feel like it should have been corn dog.
Corn dog, just holding out a stick, like running for your life.
More portable.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well that was the
was
weirdest quiz. That was so strange, but I'm really glad we did it because it was actually kind of fun. I don't know how to bridge the gap between the pregame and the
we're gonna move on.
We're moving on. So today's episode is super exciting because we are talking all about the first Hunger Games soundtrack. So not the score, but soundtrack. So we're gonna be going through the songs, listing our favorites, our least favorites, and yeah, just having a discussion about it because I love this soundtrack. It's probably my favorite out of all. I mean, like Catching Fire was really good. Mockingjay doesn't count, but there's just so much nostalgia in this soundtrack leading up to seeing the movie for the first time.
There is, and they just did such a good job getting the whole like vibe of the soundtrack to fit the first movie, which I don't feel like they did in the other soundtracks. So yes. I love this one.
Because wasn't it called like Songs from District 12 and Beyond? And
Which
I
is
mean,
so
like,
fitting because it
yeah,
sounds like mostly songs from District 12.
it has that kind of like folky, a lot of them are pretty folky. Yeah, I mean, I really like it because it really tells stories from all across Capital, from District 12, from different perspectives. And so I'm really excited to talk about it today.
You know, overall, like one thing that makes me kind of sad that we've talked about a little bit is that the soundtrack songs aren't actually in the movie. I mean, there's a couple of the songs that are in the end credits, but it would have been so cool if they were actually like played during moments, because if we're going to talk about like another movie series that we love, Twilight, all of those songs are actually in the movies, and when you hear that song you're like, oh yeah, that it just takes you to that moment in the film, and it like means that much more. Like I love all the songs, but I just wish they actually were placed at some point in the movie.
I agree, because I mean, these are songs that, like we've been talking about, have the sound that could be in the movie. I mean, you're not going to be breaking out into song and dance in the arena,
Right.
but
Like
there are moments.
vibe.
The only one that I remember actually being in the film is at the very end. It's Abraham's Daughter, and it's literally like the last 30 seconds. So I think of Snow when I hear that. Or is that the song? I think it's that song.
Yeah, it is.
And so I mean, that's the one song that we ever get besides in the end credits. So I kind of wish that some of them at least made it into the film.
Yeah, and then the only other song that's actually in the movie is Safe and Sound, which is just end credits. So why don't we just jump into each of the tracks? So I guess we already started talking about it, but Abraham's Daughter by Arcade Fire is the first song. So it does play at the end of the movie. I really like it because it has that kind of like rebellious feel to it that I feel like perfectly transitions into what's to come in the next movies. And it just sounds so cool as like a transition into like the end credits, and it just like gets me like pumped to like do a marathon and like watch all the rest of the movies.
I know. And I love the personal look at Snow and the connection to this song, and just seeing him looking out into the game makers area or whatever. And I don't know, I just think there's so much power behind the song. And like when you look at the lyrics, my favorite, I guess, lyrics from the song was Abraham's daughter raised her bow, because I mean, it's referencing Katniss right there. And it's kind of like you said, leading into that rebellion that we're going to see in Catching Fire, and how that connects her to Snow and their relationship, which I guess kind of gets me excited for Ballad too, because then you're seeing like the growth over time between Katniss coming to test him. But yeah, I just get chills.
It's got this kind of cool like feminist like twist to it as well, because it's Abraham's daughter, which I mean, the song's kind of like a Bible fan fiction, which is just
that's a perfect way to put it
in itself, because I had never heard a song that like drew like that much inspiration from like, I don't know, like a Bible story, and then like totally twisted it into something different. But then there's that lyric that's like, the angel is talking to Abraham's daughter, and he's like, what's your name? And she's like, oh, my father never gave me one. And like, as if like she didn't like matter, but then like taking the situation into, and just like the power and strength that she has. And I don't know, I love it.
Yeah. And I just like I was looking up this song, and people were talking about how Prim and Katniss are also like in it, and one of the lyrics was, you better let young Isaac go. And I kind of take that as like letting Prim go, you know, because like Katniss steps up and she's that person who goes into the arena. And so I don't know, I love that you said like the feminist thing too, because that's so true. And just how Katniss steps up and becomes somebody to the masses. So such a powerful song.
I like that Prim comment. I hadn't thought about it that way. So now
I
I'm
hadn't
gonna go
either.
re-listen to it again.
That's thanks to the internet. I was like, I think that's what it has to do, because it talks about volunteering and everything. So yeah.
Cool. That's all I had for Abraham's Daughter.
Me too.
So the next song is Tomorrow Will Be Kinder by the Secret Sisters. What are your initial thoughts about that?
I didn't write any notes for the song. I went through and wrote notes for the songs that I love. But Tomorrow Will Be Kinder, I think, is pretty straightforward. At least like from what I perceived it to be. I think it's just about how these people are living their daily lives in Panem and struggling to find hope. Because I mean, the lyric "Tomorrow will be kinder" just illustrates how they're going through much every day. And I think for Katniss, especially after she's reaped, like there's this hope, like she has to keep going to get to tomorrow. So I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. It's not my favorite song from the album, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of notes for this one either. I mean, I think it's a beautiful song. It's very
Mhm.
pretty and very soft. I like that it's like hopeful for the future, and it just has that like District 12 folky
Mhm.
vibe, so it fits in with everything. But I thought it might be good as like a end credits like alternative song, like if they didn't go with Safe and Sound. Like I think this Tomorrow Will Be Kinder would have been a good other option. But
Yeah.
that's pretty much all I have to say about this one.
I'm just looking at my list because I have 5 at the end that I want to talk about that were my favorite. But
Well,
so the
we'll
next,
get there. We'll get
yeah,
there.
the next one is Nothing to Remember by Nico Case. I took some notes on it. I think it's a reference to Katniss and it's kind of her story going into the games. Some of the lyrics that I wrote down was the fight or flight setting in. I have no introduction. I just breathe it in like the air, and there's nothing to remember. And then it repeats and says, "There's nothing to remember." And I think it also relates to Peta's lines about being a piece in their games. So I mean, like I like the sound of it a lot. I think it's very calming and pretty similar to Tomorrow Will Be Kinder in a sense that it has that District 12 sound. But yeah, I think it's just almost like a ballad of Katniss and her journey into the arena.
Yeah, I wrote down too that this is like such a Katniss song. I really like
Mhm.
it. I wrote down some of the same lyrics that you did, like the fight or flight. Um, there was a lyric about like not having as much emotion, just action and
Mhm.
reaction. I'm like, oh, that's so Katniss. And then there was a really cool lyric that I hadn't picked up on before about owing people.
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna
oh,
bring that up.
that's something that we've talked about
Mhm.
quite a bit, about being so like integral to Katniss's character. So I
Mhm.
loved that. So I do have a moment, which is really a book moment, not in the movie, is that I think that this song could be played at. So I'm someone that thinks that every single good movie should have an amazing montage. I think all of the movies should have montages, and there aren't any. At least I don't think so. But I love montages, and I think that when Katniss is working with Effie and Haymitch to try before the interviews to try and figure out like how she should play it, it'd be really cool if this song was playing over a montage of her like Effie like ordering her around and like
Oh my
trying to get her
gosh.
to walk in heels, and she like I don't know, like breaks a heel or like trips or something, and like with Haymitch like making different like faces about like how she should like play it to the cameras. Because there's this part in the song that it's like upbeat and it's kind of like clapping, like nothing to remember, and like I don't know,
Mhm.
I just feel like it's kind of like her personality and trying to figure out what the capital people will remember and like connect with. And I
I
think it would
love
be
that.
great.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a total Katniss song. And talking about montages, they needed to have in Catching Fire Peeta training Haymitch and Katniss for the Quell. Like, we need a montage every movie. They could have
Yes,
fit it in.
yes, of them like with all the well, is it? I picture like VHS tapes, like just
Mhm.
in boxes, and them like putting it in to like look at all the different games and everything.
And like
That definitely
Haymitch
should be
throwing up
a montage.
everywhere.
Yes, and them training. Oh my gosh, there's
So
that sequence in Catching Fire just should be in the movies.
we need to redirect. Let's get everyone back together. And then for the first and second movie, we'll do like montages. And we have the
Just
song for the
stick it in
first one.
there.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Anything with more Effie as well, I'm all for it.
Yes. Also, you need to talk about this, what happened this week with Effie and Elizabeth Banks.
Oh, right. It was Elizabeth Banks. I mean, this was a couple weeks ago now at this point when we're recording, but Elizabeth Banks, it was her birthday. And so the Hunger Games Twitter posted like, oh, like show us your best Effie inspired looks. And so I posted on Twitter all the Effie cosplays that I've done, and they retweeted me, and it was fantastic. So I was just chilling at the top of the Hunger Games Twitter for a while.
Yes, where she belongs. Like, get up there, stay up there.
Yeah, I think it was the 4th or 5th time that they retweeted me in like, the last decade. So
cool.
One for the history books.
Awesome. I just had to have you mention that.
Thank you, because I would have forgot.
But our next song that we're talking about is the classic Safe and Sound by Taylor Swift featuring the Civil Wars, which I believe was like the first song released.
I think so. And I have words about this because we didn't know anything about the soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And then they said one of the first things that we found out was that a Taylor Swift song was going to be on it. And I was like pissed. I was pissed off. Like, I was not really a Taylor Swift fan. Like, I didn't.
Oh no,
we can't hate her or anything. No, like she's fine. But like just thinking about her other music, I was like, that's not Hunger Games. Like, I was definitely thinking more like the other songs that are on the soundtrack, like just that like folky kind of like District 12 vibe. And I was like, I don't think any of her stuff. Like, I just couldn't picture it. But I will apologize. I'm sorry, Taylor Swift, because when the song came out, it was just like, we were all so emotional. It's just beautiful. It's fantastic.
I remember the hype behind this song and the music video of her walking through like the rubble. I was like, oh my God, girl.
Okay, do you remember though, like when that music video came out, everyone was like, it's Madge. It's the ghost of Madge in District 12 after the bombs. And she's like, her ghost is like stuck there and she's just walking around and it's perfect. Everyone was like campaigning for her to be Madge and catching fire, even though Madge wasn't in the Hunger Games.
She would have been the perfect Madge though, too.
I think she would have been great.
Well, that's the Madge that we got.
For the cast that we had, like, I mean, I think she's, if I was totally casting the movie, she was too old, but she was like 21, 22. So like same age as Jennifer Lawrence. So it would have been perfect.
Yeah. But that is so true. That was like in the back of my mind, lodged way back there, that Madge memory.
It's a deep memory, yeah.
Oh, I call this my Katniss and Prim song because it's just Katniss keeps Prim safe. And I feel like pretty much everyone agrees on that, but it's just such a lovely song.
Like that's why I'm so sorry for like ever doubting as well, because as we know, the Katniss Prim relationship is like my favorite thing about the series. And then so to have a song that perfectly encapsulated those emotions, like it was just perfect. I loved it.
And I feel like it could have fit in at the beginning of the movie, but it's almost like too much. It's like a song that I'm glad they kept separate from the movie because I'm not too sure how they would have been able to incorporate the soundtrack and still keep it as dark as they did, especially with a song like that.
So I think if it was going to be in the movie, the perfect place to put it would have been after Rue dies and she's going to Katniss is picking the flowers in the arena and like strewing them like around Rue. I think that would have been a perfect moment for Safe and Sound. And I'm sad it's not in there because Rue is very similar to Katniss, so I think it goes along with their relationship very well as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just her wanting to protect everyone that she comes across,
It's beautiful.
Beautiful. Classic. The next song is one of my favorites. I don't know what your thoughts are. Yeah.
I was not sure if you were going to say that you loved it or you hated it, but I love it.
Okay. I didn't know, like, I don't know what your music taste is, to be honest with you, because we
Well,
don't really know that about each other.
it's not really my music taste, to be honest. I don't. My musical taste is like show tunes, so like
Mhm.
none of this is my music taste. But it
Yeah.
goes with the Hunger Games so well, I think.
It is such an awesome song where I think it could have made it to the film because it is so dark, and we are talking about the ruler and the killer by Kid Cudi. So good. It's just a classic for me, President Snow song. It's just all about the control
Mm.
he has. The lyrics are so strong. Everything is killer. And reading Ballad again, like these songs about snow get me so hyped because so good. Some of the lyrics I had referencing President Snow is just like, when I talk, you should listen. All of you belong to me. Just like that really intense control that he feels over everyone. Come on, we should get it going. Now, what I want is specific. Respect what I have done for thee. Like, it just goes to his narcissism too, because he's like, I'm your savior, I'm your dictator, like you're gonna listen to me. I just love this song, so good. And then later I noted some references to the games themselves. So like lyrics like, you're putting on a show for me and survival of the fittest. It's like almost him talking to the tributes and having that powerful moment where he's like, you're going in no matter what, and you're probably gonna die, but one of you is gonna come out. But I just get goosebumps talking about this song. I love it.
It's good. It's funny, a lot of the lyrics, it's like one of the longest songs on the album, but a lot of the lyrics are so repetitive.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic. I mean, yeah, I love how it connects to snow, but I was thinking that if it was in the movie,
hmm
the place that I would put it are with some lines that actually kind of connect with Katniss. So um the you don't say nothing,
hmm
okay, and then it gets really quiet, and then it goes into like please pay attention. So
Oh, that part.
I thought it would be perfect if this was playing when she goes in front of the game makers, and it's just like please pay attention.
Oh
Like,
my gosh, that's so good. I I think for me this song would almost go with like, I know the tribute parade is really more upbeat because it's Katniss and Peta just killing it out there and like it
okay.
gives them
My
hope.
second thing that I wrote down, I said that, or my secondary pick would be during the tribute parade.
And she just meets eyes
So,
with him and
mhm.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm kind of thinking like it would be cool if it was playing during the Catching Fire tribute parade, because like what you're saying, like the vibe is totally different. In Catching
Mhm,
Fire, she's like very like angry and
mhm.
like stoic, and it would be so perfect, like that tension there. Whereas the
Yes.
first tribute parade is more like, playing to the crowd.
Can someone make an edit please for me?
Honestly, I'm kind of thinking about making a video edit that like has all of the
Please.
scenes that I would put these songs at and post it on our YouTube channel. So
Oh my gosh, it's so much work. I
I
need
know,
to see
but
that
it would be
though.
so fun. Okay,
Yes.
I'm committing to it because I
Oh
have to
my
decide
gosh.
now.
I'm so
It'll be
excited.
up on YouTube.
Well, I can't wait for that. But yeah, that's all I had for that song. That song is just so powerful
I love
though.
that we both love it.
hmm And then the next song, I'm gonna spoil, it's my all-time favorite song from all of the soundtracks. It
Really?
it was my Spotify top played song of 2020. Yeah.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
I mean, it kind of reflected 2020 too, but it's
Okay,
Dark
then
Days.
I really need to hear what how you interpret Dark Days, because it's one of my favorite songs too, but I feel like how I interpret it, like if you interpreted it the way that I do, I don't think it would be your favorite. So I need to
Really?
hear you talk about it.
Okay, I'm nervous now. I think, okay, so Dark Days by Punch Brothers. It is probably the most beautiful. There's a song in Catching Fire that is comparable that we'll talk about later, but this is definitely like up there. There's my top two favorite songs of all the movie soundtracks. But it's just so beautiful and the sound of it, and it just gives me that District 12 feeling. And so I think like without the lyrics, like lyrics aside, it's my favorite for that reason. Obviously, it references the dark days, pretty obvious. It's in the title. But the notes that I took on it today, because I have never really dived into the song specifically and the meaning and the lyrics. I said it was about Katniss and other characters' strengths. So some of the lyrics are, "We don't have to reap the fear they sow, friends as long as we hide our love away." So it's kind of just, for me, I interpret that as Katniss and her relationship with Peta, and just like Prim and Gale, just having that strength and that rebellion in themselves to love each other, to maybe have children, to find hope in the dark days. And then another part that I think of is Katniss and Prim and the lyrics about, "Sister, hide our love away from the evil we both know." It just sounds so powerful to me about the relationship between Katniss and Prim, specifically noting like the sister aspect. And I really just think it's about their everyday life in District 12 prior to being reaped. So yeah, I just love the song.
We have a lot of, similar love for this song, so that makes me really
Mhm.
happy. It's definitely on my top 3 of
Ooh.
this soundtrack. I haven't really compared it to the others, but I agree. It's just the perfect, like, the feeling of District 12 and Katniss's life.
Mhm.
I feel like I like that you expanded it to the rest of her family and relationships too, because for me, what I think about first is mostly Katniss and Gale's relationship. So for me, this is like kind of like Gale's song on the
Yeah.
soundtrack. So that's why I was like, I don't know if you're gonna like it or not. But I mean, they
Mhm.
have such a great like relationship at the beginning in the Hunger
Yeah.
Games. So I definitely like can hear this song like playing, especially at the beginning of the movie when Katniss leaves Prim and is like going off into the woods to like hunt
Mhm.
and like meet Gale. Like I can just picture this song like playing in the background. I think that would be
Aw.
like a perfect moment for this. But yeah, the lyrics that you talked about are the same ones that I wrote down. It's just like such a hopeful song, but like still unsure. Like we can't, like we're hopeful, but we can't really like live our lives fully like out there.
Mhm.
Like you have to keep your love kind of contained. And we even
Yeah.
see that in like with Katniss and Gale in Catching Fire, that when they pretend that they're cousins because they don't want to be seen as like love interests because that might be dangerous. I
Yeah.
just love the song. It's great.
I I just, it's the lyric, like the line, "We don't have to reap the fear they sow," just like,
It's
and the
powerful.
voices,
I wrote that
yeah.
down.
And the voice is so beautiful in the song. It's just so powerful to me. I don't know. I will forever, oh, I'm gonna drop my mic over, but I will forever love that song. It's just so comforting and so sad and so happy at the same time.
Oh yeah, it's so good. Definitely one of the best songs.
Hmm.
I'm surprised that you love it that much. Like
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I love it so much. What was I gonna say? If I were to see it in the movie, I think it would be another scene that we'd have to make up. I think I would think about the time where Katniss and Gale run into Lavinia, the Avox girl in the woods, which obviously didn't like make it, but that's something
One of
where
my
like,
favorite things that didn't make the movies, as you know.
yeah. So I think it would just be so powerful to have the song playing, because there's the bit of hope that Katniss and Gale have that escape to the woods, but then you're only as powerful as you can be in Panem. So yeah.
It's great. I love it. Okay,
Okay.
so the next song is One Engine by the Decemberists.
This song annoys me so much.
Okay, good, because my first
So
I like that we're
much.
so in sync here so far.
Yeah.
My first well, I'll just read my notes. I said boring AF.
Yes. Like when it comes on, I'll have like the soundtrack on shuffle. I skip it. Like the first few seconds annoys me so much. It's so loud. It's so annoying. Mm.
Yeah, I
One of
remember
my
when
least
it
favorite.
first came out too. I I just didn't like it from the very beginning. I thought it was super boring. Like, it's very monotone, but yeah, still like loud.
Yeah.
I don't get it. One of the lines that I wrote down was, I'd like to get you in some kind of way, some kind of trouble in some kind of way. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, that's what?
Wasn't this one of the I think this was one of the songs that came out before the soundtrack too, because wasn't it Safe and Sound and then this song? Because I remember hearing it and being
Think
like, is
so.
this really what's
Yeah.
gonna happen? Like, I was so skeptical.
Hey, we went from
Um,
a 10 to like a 0. Like, what
yeah.
happened?
Yeah. I mean, thinking about like reading through the lyrics, I think they're kind of interesting because I saw it as like the engines represent the tributes because they're being like used so much by the Capitol. And so like that part is interesting to me. But everything else, it's just skip, 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 skip. Like I hate
Yeah,
it.
I mean, there's a train.
Hmm. There we go. The train.
There it is.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
Me
It's one of my
too.
least favorite songs. But the next one is also a song that annoys me, but I think it has a lot of meaning, and so I respect it. And it's
Holly,
how do you?
we're like the exact same.
This is
Basically, the
weird.
exact note that I wrote down. I put, I don't love it to be honest, but I do love the folk song feel, and I can respect and appreciate it.
Oh my god. And the funny thing is like we're so different. Like our personality types are different. Like I don't listen to the type of music you listen to,
But see,
like
but when it comes to the Hunger Games and it comes to like what the story means and like how, like I feel like we both really get that. Like we're both very in tune with like what is Hunger Games and like what
yeah.
is not.
Yeah. But it's called, is it Daughter's Lament? I don't know
Oh
how to
yeah,
pronounce it.
let's say the title.
Yeah.
Sorry.
By the Carolina Chocolate Drops. So it's a really like the meaning is beautiful. Um, and the lyrics, I mean, they literally mention her father, the Mockingjay. Like it's really Hunger Games-esque. And like you said, it has like the folk sort of sound to it. And I mean, I copy and pasted so many of these lyrics because there's just so much behind it. But yeah, I just don't love it sound wise.
Honestly, to me, like some of the lyrics are good, but I don't like when lyrics are too on the nose.
Okay.
Like, which is kind of my problems like with ballad in general, same thing. But when it says Mockingjay and then it specifically talks about like a father in the mines, I don't know. It just it was too much for me. Like connecting the dots too much.
See, I can see that, but I think I kind of like it because it's a story more than it is a song. I really like how it's kind of a conversation between like Katniss and her father and Katniss and herself and mourning her father. I think like it's nice to listen to or read, but it's not something I'm gonna like jam out to like Dark Days.
Yeah. But I feel like there's another song on the soundtrack that tells that story better.
Ooh, okay, I'm excited.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, I do like at the end where it talks about um how she's never going to see her dad again, and then it says and she held her sister close to her side and never more did sing. I think that's really powerful because that's where she gets her voice, and it's from her dad. She can sing and it's what connects her to Peta. So I mean, it
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
ends
I
it
love
very
that lyric.
hopeful. Yeah, it's just a very hopeful ending to such a sad story and relationship between Katniss and her dad. But otherwise, that's all I have.
Yeah, I do appreciate it a lot, and I appreciate how it sounds so unique. We've got Kingdom Come by the Civil Wars, so who are also part of the Safe and Sound song.
Hmm. I like it a lot. I mean, it's not my favorite, but I do enjoy it.
I would put this one on my top 3 favorites, I think.
Oh,
Maybe
I mean,
fourth,
it's
third or
nice. Yeah.
fourth for me
Hmm.
on the list.
I mean, I like how they use like the male voices and the female voices to kind of like tell a story and a conversation. Like the lyrics are really true to the situation that they're living through as tributes. And I mean, I wrote down that the male voice is the one that starts the song, and it's almost like the tribute finding their way into the arena and then just feeling that loneliness. And then I kind of see the female voice as like maybe a god or spiritual figure that watches over the kids and like is guiding them through this awful situation in the arena.
Yeah, I kind of took it as like Katniss's song, like when she first gets into the arena, like you were saying, and having to, like, she's very in tune with nature, but then it's like she's almost, it's more dangerous, has like a dangerous tone to it now. Just to like run away, buy yourself another day, a cold wind's whispering in your ear, secrets only you can hear, and just speaks to how much like she knows going into the arena, but it's just so different, and like she's just thrown into this situation that she's never had to like really deal with before, like just completely surviving on her own. So I just really like it. I didn't really think about the kind of more like God type figure. I thought of it more as like Katniss's like subconscious thoughts. But I think it's just a really beautiful song. And I like listening to it.
I think it's a really, like, it does have that District 12 sound for sure. And I think it reminds me of all the tributes too. I know you focused on Katniss, but I think it gives me like Rue vibes too, because the age she was going into it. But yeah, I just see it as somebody watching over them as they enter such a scary situation. So it's a calming song.
I definitely think it could be played in the movie, like at the beginning when Katniss is like, you know, but from when she goes off on her own to like climbing up in the tree, that whole part, or when she's like looking for Peta.
I'm trying to think where I would put it. I think I could definitely see it like when they're getting onto the train and leaving District 12 too, because at the time she doesn't know that she has Peta as an ally. So she feels completely alone, and just the mix of emotions as you go into what could be your final resting place, I guess. So
yeah, I like that, being a little bit less literal.
The next song is Take the Heartland by Glenn Hansard. And that's another one I skip because I sound like a grandma. It's so loud to me. There's so much happening in it. I'm just like, relax, please. It sounds like One Engine to me. And the screaming is not my music preference. So yes, but I do think it has meaning.
Yeah, same. I'm like, is this Kato's song?
Yes, that's what I said. No joke. I think it's so Kato. Reading through the lyrics, like, I'm gonna find my knife and run it through those stitches, throw my friends down in the ditches before they even know what I've come here for. Like, talking about Clove, like, he's pretty much brainwashed into becoming the monster that he is.
And even at the end of the song, I feel like it shifts a little bit to get a little bit more, like there's like a realization. I didn't write down the lyrics, but I think there is a shift at the end that it talks about like revenge. And I think I always think of that as more towards like the capital. Like there's a realization, I think.
Yeah. I think that's at the end, because I have like 3 different sections for this song.
Okay.
So it's like the Kato section, and then the capital telling him what to do, which the lyrics are, I set myself by the words, by the voice that I heard. Take the Heartland with a sense of revenge, like you talked about. Take the Heartland and make it look easy, and we'll die in the end. So I think that's like the capital feeding and brainwashing him.
His fate, like at the end. And
yeah. And then finally, like the last few lyrics, I think, are explicit. So but I think it's Kato being brainwashed, and it's like, you say shit, you say stand, you say stop, you say go, and then it keeps repeating that. And it ends with, and you sit and you watch us all. And so I think that's when he kind of does make that realization where he's being told what to do. Like, he is a piece in Snow's game. He's there to fill a role and kill. And so I think, like, I'd never thought about it as Kato's song until I actually looked into the lyrics, but I think it makes it more powerful, and I don't hate it as much.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I skip the song also. I don't usually listen to it, but I I appreciate it. I think it has a meaning. So
Mhm.
I definitely don't dislike it as much as One Engine.
Yes, I agree. Okay, the next one, I'm really curious what you think about "Come Away to the Water" by Maroon 5 featuring Rosie Crane.
So I said it was like the career pack song, even though it's a little bit soft sounding. I mean, it's definitely, I don't know, it sounds kind of like evil to
Yeah.
me. Just the like, we're coming for you, come away, little lamb, come away to the slaughter. I just couldn't stop thinking about it playing in the movie at the moment where Katniss goes off to the feast and then is like there in the bushes, like peering out, like waiting. Like I feel like that would create like so much tension in that
Yeah.
moment. And yeah, I think it'd go perfectly there. I think
Yeah.
I think it's the career song.
Yeah. I love that interpretation of it. I always thought I thought the careers for sure. And then another one
Is
is
this another like snow
I thought yeah, it's like a
song?
capital and like the children, I think is the one that I always go
Yeah.
to just because I mean, obviously they're the little lambs, they're the really weak ones and they're being taken from what they know. And so I love this song. I just love Maroon 5 too. So
Oh yeah,
it's so
it's a
calming.
good song to have on the soundtrack.
Yeah, which is so cool. Like the fact that they had such big artists on this album when you don't really know what you're getting into with a franchise of like the Hunger Games or Twilight or Divergent, you know, how they had big soundtracks. I just thought it was crazy that these are pretty well-known people singing the song. So, yeah.
I mean, it's definitely, I don't think it's at my top. Maybe it'd be like top 5 or 6.
Me too. Yeah.
Next song is Run Daddy Run, Miranda Lambert, featuring Pistol Annies. I don't know who that is. But this is the one I was talking about that's Katniss and her father. And I feel like this is a much better Katniss and her father song than, what was the other one? Daughter's Lament. I think it'd make a really good end credits song instead of like Safe and Sound.
Yeah.
That was just kind of my note. I don't think it would fit really anywhere in the movies unless there was like a longer flashback of her and her dad.
But then I feel like it's too obvious too. Just like
yeah,
with
it is a bit on the nose, and I think usually I don't like that, but it's such a pretty song.
Yeah.
And I feel like it is fine. It would go in the end credits. It just makes me think so much of like young Katniss and her like at school, like just I always worried that that moment is going to come where it's like, oh, there was an explosion, because everybody knows what that means, and just like the fear like in that moment, and like probably the nightmares that she still has of like wanting to get her father and I guess the rest of her family like out of the terrible like situation that they're in.
Yeah.
It just makes me so sad.
Yeah. I don't like this song. I like how you interpreted it, but I didn't write anything down for it.
What?
Like I skip it. It's one of the songs that I skip.
It sounds so District 12.
I think it's just too country. I don't know. But I love how you interpret it. I just think it is very different from Daughter's Lament, but I think the story in Daughter's Lament, because it's so clear for me, I kind of like it.
Okay, well you can have that Katniss and her father song, and I'll have this one.
That's where we'll disagree this episode. Everything else is spot on.
Like the line, like how I've dreaded this godforsaken day, just makes my heart hurt for Katniss.
Yeah, I guess it kind of relates to like going to the ceremony where they gave them like the medal or whatever. As a
it could also be like the reaping as well. Like, I mean, if you take out the daddy part, but like run away, run and hide.
Run, Peta, run.
Let's not go there.
Oh my god. Okay. Moving on.
That's so funny because like I was definitely like
Oh, I'm gonna cry. I was gonna say
Katniss
Gale,
and
but I was like,
Peta's
no.
Katniss and Peta's like age when I read the books. You were
Yeah.
younger. Yeah,
Oh
let's
my
just not go there.
god, that's too much. Okay. Let's see. Next one is Rules by Jamie D. I love this. I think it's a really calming song. I didn't write anything down. It's not like my favorite, but I think it's just like a really nice song to listen to.
I
But
put cute Katniss and Peta song.
oh, wait, really? That's so
That's
cute.
my note.
Aw, I love that.
Actually, I this song was a little bit out of place to me because it's talking so much about memories,
Hmm.
and like I just feel like it would fit so much better on the Mockingjay soundtrack. But
Yeah.
there aren't any songs like this on the
No.
Mockingjay soundtrack.
It's called the Lord soundtrack. Like,
Yeah, that dumpster fire. We'll talk about that.
yeah, I don't know. I never thought about it as like a Peta Katniss sort of song. I just think like the lyrics are pretty in your face, you know?
Really? Like we run around the rules?
Yeah, I feel like it's just like her living in District 12, hunting, like living around the rules but not following them. I don't know. It's just the way I
Well,
saw
I
it.
kind of thought it could also be at, at first a Gale and Katniss song because they run around the rules a
Hmm.
lot too. But then the lyrics about like memories and like not being sure, that just didn't really connect to Gale and Katniss to me. That was more
Yeah.
Peta. I just feel like it's a Mockingjay song. I don't really know why it's
Yeah.
on the soundtrack, but maybe someone was writing it who was a fan of the Hunger Games and like knew where their relationship was headed.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't really write much down, like I said. It's just it gives me like the folk kind of vibes. It's very District 12. So I feel like it fits in with the sound of the soundtrack.
Yeah, definitely
But
the sound for sure.
but yeah, that's all I have for that.
So the next one is Eyes Open. It's the second Taylor Swift song on the
Mhm.
soundtrack.
I love this.
I love it too. It definitely could not go in the movie anywhere. It's kind of got a more
Yeah.
like pop rock vibe to it. To me, it actually sounds like a song that could be on like the Twilight soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah. If the Hunger Games wasn't such a dark, miserable story, then let's add it in. But I mean, I think it's just like a really I like how you called Abraham's Daughter like a fanfic sort of song because I feel like I'd put that down as this as well because it's pretty much just watching Katniss get ready to go into the arena. Like the lyrics are talking about everybody's waiting for you to break down, everybody's watching to see the fallout, you know, like just keeping one eye open at all times, you know, never let your guard down and entering the unknown. So I think it's just a really nice Katniss fanfic kind of song.
Yeah, to me, it sounds it's like a song that someone would take a bunch of clips from the Hunger Games movies and then like make their own little like fan edit, like music
Yeah.
video, like with this song over it.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree.
It
But
feels
it's
more
just,
like Hunger Games inspired, like I don't know, in a way than like actually being on the soundtrack itself. But I mean, I like it a lot.
yeah. Again, we feel the same. This is kind of weird because we haven't talked about this ever.
Nope.
But yeah. Um, next song I'm obsessed with. I love Lover is Childlike.
Really?
Yes, I
Oh
love it. I
gosh,
love it.
this
I
is
love
gonna
it.
be where we really disagree. I
Really?
don't like this song at all. I think it's
Really?
weird. I think it's
Oh.
boring. I don't understand the lyrics at all.
Okay, girl, keep going. Like
So that's like all I've got. I've
okay,
like wrote
I
hardly anything, so I can't wait to hear what you think because I would love for my mind to be changed and my eyes to be opened.
well, okay. I see what you did there. You're not gonna like my description of it. I really love the sound of like the instruments in it. I think it's a very it's so I think out of all of them, it's the most District 12 song that could have existed on the album. So
Okay.
I think it just the intro, the opening is just so lovely. But this is my Katniss and Gale song, And I'm not hating on Gale today, guys. I kind of like him at the beginning of the book, so I don't hate him today. Gale Hate Club is not in session this episode, but some of the lyrics that I love, I think it's just Gale thinking about Katniss. There's a few. It's, you might think she's Christ-like, but my lover is childlike. She don't care for country and her tatters and rags, but the band plays the anthem. She whispers, God hates flags. And so I think it's just a really beautiful reflection on Gale's love for Katniss. I mean, saying like she becomes this Christ-like figure to so many people, leading the masses and surviving the games, doing the impossible with Peta. Talking about like how she doesn't really care for the country. Like obviously Gale is the one who is more the revolutionary guy, you know? And I just think it's his love for this girl from District 12 from the Seam who becomes so much more to everyone else. So I think it's a really wholesome song.
Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to it again with that perspective. Like, because I just couldn't nail down like who it was about, or I mean, obviously Katniss is in there, but I just couldn't figure out exactly like what relationship or what context, what moment from the story it was referring to. So
yeah,
I'm gonna give it a re-listen,
another
try.
It's just, I think the instruments, like I said, are so beautiful. I don't really, I've played instruments before, but I don't know them that well. Like I think there's the flute in it, like the flute solo or whichever like instrument that was, but it's later in the song and it's just really sad. I think you just kind of feel the emotions of sad Gale watching the girl that he loved move on and become so meaningful. So I mean, like, this is me kind of vibing with Gale today. Like, we can be friends today.
Hey, like Dark Days, that's my Gale song. So
yeah,
no hate on Gale today.
wow, I'm shocked. This is never gonna happen again.
No, it's not.
But yeah, I do enjoy this. I would say I think I listed it as my second favorite behind Dark Days for the soundtrack.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna try my best to listen again. I think it's just something about the lyrics. I don't know. I know I said I don't like things to be too on the nose, but I feel like this is the opposite direction, that it's too like out there for me. Like there's lyrics about like Ferris wheels and
yeah,
I'm like, this is just not, it's not Hunger Games to me. So
yeah, I can see that. I think
abstract.
Definitely, because when I was reading the lyrics at first too, I was kind of like, what? But yeah. And then
so our last song is Just a Game by Birdie. This is my favorite song.
I love this song. This is my number 3 song.
I have in all caps, this is the Everlark Anthem.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. I love it. It's one of my favorites. But I mean, it's pretty obvious it is a Katniss and Peta song, which I love. But just talking about, like, I think of it as switching different perspectives. I think when I was reading about it, lots of people said it was more like from Katniss's point of view, but I kind of see like it switches between different verses, different lines.
Yeah, because Peta has those thoughts as well.
I mean, he's the one that tells her that they are a piece in the games.
He says that, and then at the end, when he realizes it was just a game. Like I picture this song like I feel like it should have been in the movie. I put in all caps again. I need this song to play while Katniss. I can't even
gonna cry.
I can't even handle it. So this is a made up scene. Like it's a scene that we all needed to be in the movie when Peta loses his leg. He's in the hospital, and I need this song to just blast while Katniss is like banging on the hospital like through the glass.
I need a minute to like take that in. That's too much for me. I'm gonna go listen to this and
just
like
perfect. Just picture it. Just picture Katniss like.
I'm gonna put on my hoodie. Just gonna blast this in my room. I'm gonna close the curtains.
Just cry.
I'm just gonna pull up this picture, just stare at it, and just cry because
pull up that picture of when Peta is in District 13 and it's like the glass and you see like Katniss's like face.
Stop.
And just pretend it's the end of the Hunger Games movie.
Oh, I hate you.
That's all you need.
God. Okay, like that's a really good scene to put it in, but the part that I would put it in, I think is you wouldn't like as much because it's so literal, but it would be the train scene where they stop and she actually tells him like, I don't have feelings for you. And I just think like we needed that because at the end of the movie it's so rushed. Like you don't know what she's really talking about. I think we spoke about this a few weeks ago about like it was just for the games. Okay, like what was just for the games? Like we try to forget, that was so short. But in the book, it's so long and sad and uncomfortable. Like if they had included that scene, I think that song would have been perfect there.
No, I completely agree. If I have to pick a real scene, I need it to play when they're on the train going home and they talk.
But they need to stop the train. He needs to pick her, what was it? Did he pick her dandelions? And she's like, it's a weed. And then he like tries to give her the flowers and then she's like, I don't like you, dude. Like you need to go away. Rip. But it's just such a good song and Birdie's voice is so pretty.
So beautiful. It's so perfect.
I think she sang in the Fault in Our Stars soundtrack too, which I used to like bop out to because it was such a good one. And
oh, nice.
Birdie is the queen of fandom songs. But
well, this one's perfect. Hit the nail on the head.
Well, I'm glad we ended on a good note, but I want to hear. I listed 5 songs. I don't know how many you listed as your top favorites.
I did 4.
Okay, let's just recap with that list.
Well, so we established that Just the Game is my top.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have Dark Days is my second.
Mm-hmm.
Kingdom Come is my third, and Abraham's Daughter is my fourth.
Okay. So I feel like my top 3 are set in stone, but then I kind of included a couple like tiebreakers. Sorry. So my top is Dark Days, my second is Lover is Childlike, my third favorite is Just a Game, and then these next 3 kind of tie. It's Abraham's Daughter, Come Away to the Water, and then the Kid Cudi song, which I'm blanking on right now. I didn't write down, but those are kind of like
Killer.
Yeah, those are kind of like tied together as like my 4th favorite.
Yeah, I have a lot. I know for sure Just a Game is my favorite and Dark Days is my second. Everything after that, there's just so many like good ones that I like that it's hard to choose. Yeah.
And then if we're talking least favorite, One Engine, Take the Heartland, and Daughter's Lament. So
my least favorite is One Engine and Lover is Childlike.
It's okay.
But we're gonna reassess. We're reassessing.
Oh my goodness. Well, lovely. I love this soundtrack. It really, I think we talked about the most authentic to the Hunger Games, the first book, and the sound of District 12 and beyond. So I'm really glad that we talked about it. I can't wait to talk about Catching Fire soundtrack because that one has a few bangers too. But
some that are not good.
Yeah.
The soundtracks for me just get worse as they go on. So, there's only 3. But yeah, that was super fun discussion. I love that we were talking about something that like you and I have never talked at all about. So
and we're pretty similar. Cool. Yeah.
I know. I'm shocked, except for Lover is Childlike, but
it's okay.
We'll revisit that. I'll let you know. So next week we are going to be talking about our memories from the midnight showings way back when. So it's going to be a bit of just like a story time, which I think is going to be fun. Like I'm excited to hear like your thoughts and like memories around like when the movies first came out, and excited to like rethink about some of my experiences, probably things I haven't thought about in a long time.
I kind of want to bring cringy photos too. So
oh my gosh,
if you're watching it, I'm going to bring cringy photos.
Let's do it. Yes.
Perfect.
And that would be a reason to follow us on YouTube at Into the Arena Podcast, because we film all of these as well. But we're also on Instagram and TikTok at Into the Arena Podcast, so you can follow us there. And we will talk to you guys next week. Hope you guys have a great week.